In this Fextralife video, I'm going to be showing you guys some new gameplay from Fable that Xbox just published on their channel. I'm going to be giving some commentary on this as the video rolls through. You will hear narration from people that are involved in the project as the video goes through, but I will be doing a little bit of voiceover here and there, kind of pointing out things I'm noticing as we make our way through the trailer. There's so much to unpack in this trailer. I didn't want to like cut out bits and then have to go watch the trailer separately. So I figured it'd be best to just kind of point out the things I'm noticing, what I like, what I don't like from what we're seeing in the trailer. And there is a little bit of combat in this as well, but the general idea of this demo that Xbox put out is to showcase what sort of activities you can do, like when you're trying to just lose yourself in the game world and immerse yourself, not really follow the main quest line. What sort of things can you do when you're not doing that? So that's what you're going to see mostly. Again, there is a little bit of combat towards the end of this video, so if you're curious about combat, definitely stick around for that. So immediately you can see that the game world looks absolutely beautiful. The area of the game reminds me of the Shire from Lord of the Rings. Not surprising really, since it's called Oakshire and it's based on the British countryside, which is what the Shire in Lord of the Rings was based on as well. And the game carries over the high fantasy feeling that you see in the Fable franchise, which I think is arguably the main draw of the game, and I really, really love this area. Here you can see the frame rate is dropping below 60 a little bit while moving. I'm a little bit concerned about the frame rate of this game. Supposedly this footage is running on Xbox Series X. I'm a little bit worried about the frame rate because of the visual fidelity is so high. And one of the things that I've seen historically Xbox do is they move their character very slowly through the game world when they're demoing it so that you can't see how bad the FPS is when things are moving more quickly, which most people will be moving more quickly through the game. I saw this with Avowed, and it does have me concerned that the FPS might actually be a bit worse than what you're seeing here if you played normally. I really love the vines rising up in the background as the character's riding around on his horse. It gives the game a very fairy tale feel. And again, it adds that element that I think is kind of unique to Fable in the high fantasy setting. You don't see too many games that have that feeling, and this is definitely one of them.
When I enter a settlement, I quickly run into the beating heart of Albion. Its people. There are over 1,000 handcrafted, fully voiced NPCs.
So as the narrator mentioned, there are 1,000 fully voiced NPCs in the game, and that's a staggering amount. That's actually more than The Witcher 3 by my count, and it's about half that of Baldur's Gate 3. To give you some context on, like, you know, is that actually a big number or a small number? I think when you first hear it, you automatically assume, but that gives you some comparisons. You can really see like how many voiced NPCs there are in this game.
Because its people have lives. I've never been to Silverbrook, and because I've done nothing of note yet, Max the stable hand here is completely indifferent to me.
Got a minute? What do you want then?
So, if I ask him to follow me...
Follow me. I don't deal with randos.
Now here, after this dialogue, you can hear the character say, "I don't deal with randos." Now, this point, I think, is going to be polarizing for people. Some people won't mind that language used in a fantasy game. It's modern language or modern slang. I don't particularly like that sort of language in my fantasy games. It kind of pulls me out of the immersion back to present time. And when you're trying to get lost in these game worlds, I don't think that's a good thing. Some people won't mind this. Some people actually prefer it, that they're hearing language that's familiar to them in modern day slang. But I personally didn't like that, and you're going to see more examples of this as we go through this video.
I don't deal with randos.
He won't. And he thought I was weird. That's fair.
Right then. Bye. Well, and there you go, I guess.
In the story, I'm here investigating if there's a connection between Isabel, the powerful red-cloaked hero I'm pursuing, and the strange magical incidents being reported in Silverbrook.
Is that a hero? Hey.
I've heard something about giant vegetables and a hero called Arden, who lives nearby. Maybe they could help me find Isabel. And it seems there's a bit of a commotion in the town square. Let's see what's going on.
Someone needs to tell this little brat what's what. Oh, hero, can you do me a favour and get this bloody kid away from me?
No! I won't let you kill Colin! Hero! You have to stop him!
Look, kid, I'm a butcher, and Colin's just a pig. Do I need to spell it out?
But I'm not like all the other pigs, am I, John?
Oh, look, I am not...
Next, the lip sync seems pretty rough on initial inspection. You can see the conversation that these three individuals are having, the pig, the boy, and the guy here. And the lip sync seems way off, in my opinion. It doesn't even look like they made that much of an attempt to get it accurate, as if it wasn't that important. And I think it's a little bit too noticeable for my liking.
I am not having this conversation with you again, Colin.
Did I just understand that pig?
Oh, yeah. The novelty wears off after a bit, trust me.
Colin's special. Please. We can eat something else at this little travel feast.
Well done.
People are expecting a hog roast, kid, and I've been preparing this pig for ages.
But I've only just learned to communicate. Who knows what else I could achieve? I've got potential, hero. Don't let me end up on a spit. Please.
Well, this certainly qualifies as a magical incident. What you're seeing here is not a cinematic. It's just one of the hundreds of story conversations in our game. We have over 2 hours of high-quality, performance-captured cinematics, just like the ones you've seen in our trailers. But in these conversations, you'll make hundreds of branching dialogue choices that change what happens and how people feel about you. It's important to note that every choice has a consequence. It's up to me if Colin lives or dies, and I think he should live. I mean, come on, he's a talking pig.
Let the pig live.
Yes!
Thanks, hero. I knew you'd understand. No hard feelings, John.
You don't make the decisions here. This is my pig, bought and paid for.
I can see his point, so I'm going to pay the butcher.
What's the pig worth to you? I'll cover it.
Oh, it's not just a pig. It's provisions, labour, faff. We're talking thousands.
2,000 gold. That seems pretty steep. All right, Colin's worth it.
Here, this should cover your expenses.
Fine.
Now here you can see plus shrewd on the top left, indicating that you gain reputation in this area from dialogue based on choices. If you do enough shrewd transactions, in this case it's enough, you will actually gain like a tag that you're shrewd, and some people will respond to you better and some people will respond to you more negatively based on that. And that can actually save you money in certain dialogue situations, or maybe even cost you money.
Those rumours about Dave's veg better be true. Feast going vegan this year.
Here you can see the guy talks about the feast going vegan again this year. This is another insertion of modern dialogue and modern concepts that I don't think you would typically see in fantasy. It's probably a lot less noticeable than the rando comment. And I probably wouldn't have too much of an issue with it if it was the only comment so far, but not too far removed from that rando comment. I'm starting to see a pattern here in the dialogue that has me a little bit concerned with the type of language that is used. This is something that I really didn't like about Dragon Age, was that they used a lot of modern language and that the writers used a lot of modern day terms in their dialogue for a game that was supposed to be like a dark fantasy. This is more of a high fantasy game, but you still don't really expect to hear those sort of words.
This year.
Hero! You saved Colin. Mum gave me these, but I think you deserve them more.
Here you see merciful and virtuous appear on the screen, indicating reputation of the area. So the actions of the individual are gaining reputation. And reputation is a big part of what makes Fable Fable. And I think it's one of the biggest systems that the series has always had. And it's particularly, it seems isolated to the area that you are, specifically this town. You are in one of 6 regions of the game, as the narrator said earlier on. But it seems to be isolated to the town of Silverbrook in this case. So even if you're like outside of Silverbrook, that reputation probably won't apply to you outside of that town.
Thanks. Maybe you could help me back. The guild sent me. There's been reports of strange things happening around here.
Like what?
Who's in charge around here? And where's Arden, the hero?
Arden doesn't really come around here anymore. You should try the sheriff. His office is nearby. Come on, Colin. Let's go.
I've spared Colin's life. I've also gained reputations as virtuous and shrewd. In Fable, every action generates local reputation. You'll eventually be known for the reputations you build. and everyone will judge you on their own moral terms, often directly.
Nice way.
And this is at the centre of our complex, nuanced take on morality, evolving beyond just right and wrong. It reflects real life, where morality is multifaceted and subjective. One person's good is another person's evil.
I'm saving something.
Even being merciful will divide opinion.
Let's chat to some other folks and see what they think about me.
Hello there.
Hey, you're that hero.
This is Jack the Beggar. He's a commoner who's unemployed right now. Which is a shame, given he's a hard-working sort of person. On the right is how he feels about me. Jack likes my virtuous reputation and thinks I'm principled. Other NPCs might feel differently about my choices, because each has their own moral view on the choices you make. There are lots of ways to interact with NPCs. I'm going to give some gold to Jack, because he seems nice. And he's a bit down on his luck.
For you. I hope it helps.
Oh, this is going straight in my pocket. Cheers.
He was grateful for that, and he felt I was being kind. Let's give him a bit more.
Here. Don't spend it all at once.
This takes the edge off. Thank you.
That made an impact. I've gained a reputation for being kind, and I'm known for it across Silverbrook. Everything you do has a consequence.
Here you can see that your reputation affects your character in a positive way. In this case, there's a romance option at the bottom as well. So you can try and romance NPCs, which again is another huge part of the Fable franchise, being able to romance pretty much anyone you want. There's also options for follow, gifting, and give gold. And the player here gets plus kind reputation for giving gold to this person. So you can see how he's already starting to accumulate different reputation based off very few actions he's already taken.
Let's leave Jack.
So long. You're like a breath of fresh air, you know?
I do like Jack, though. Maybe I should buy him a gift.
At this point, you can again sort of see performance issues as the camera swings. He's doing it very slowly, but you can already see the frame rate, or it's kind of like stuttery or jittery on the screen. I imagine if the character swung more quickly, you'd see this even more noticeably. Has me a little bit concerned about the frame rate.
There are lots of shops with different stock across Albion. Let's go to the general store across the street to see what they have. Every business has NPCs working in them as part of their daily life. Just like Megan here.
This is some quality stuff.
Welcome, hero. What can I do for you?
Doing my deal to save Colin gave me a shrewd reputation, and Megan here is a fan. She's an ambitious commoner, and she thinks I'm savvy because of my earlier deal-making. Every NPC has unique characteristics driving who they are and what they think of you. You know what? Forget Jack. He's dead to me. I'm going to try flirting with Megan.
Phew. Is it hot around here, or is it just you?
Well, aren't you confident? Between you and me, I've always wanted to swoon.
That went well. Megan thinks I'm charming and flirty, and I've started to build a reputation for it in Silverbrook. Let's ask her out on a date.
Do you want to grab a drink or something?
Would you believe you're almost what I'm looking for?
Here we get our first look at romance options, and there seems to be quite a few options you can choose from, including flirt, something that looks like maybe going to bed, relationship option maybe, gifting, and potentially marriage. The option actually becomes date after their interaction, and he gains the flirty and charming reputation. And you can also see what sort of things at this point that the character likes in order to initiate more of a relationship with them. So you kind of have to meet those criteria. And I have mixed feelings about this. It's always good to know what the criteria are so that you can go and do those things if you really want to romance an individual. But also it kind of removes some of the mystery of the game in terms of like, you know, how a natural relationship would evolve. You don't necessarily know what the other person will appreciate or not. Ideally, you have some idea. But like it's spelling it out for you black and white kind of feels like in some ways it's dumbing it down a little too much for my liking.
Clearly she's interested, but I'm not worthy of her time just yet. She wants to date an entrepreneur who owns their own home and only wears fancy clothes. They're high standards. She is ambitious after all. All right, I'm invested in taking Megan on a date. Let's go.
I'll be back, I'm sure.
You have a smashing day.
First, I'll need to buy a business to get a reputation as an entrepreneur. In Fable, I can literally buy any business. I could buy that bakery across the street, or around the corner, I could buy one of the stalls. But you know what? I think I like the pub. The Silver Trough. It's simple to buy a property. Interact with the deed outside the front door to see income, price, and the number of people employed there. To be honest, I've always wanted to own a pub, so let's buy it. Maybe this is the start of my business empire.
Here you can see that you can buy any business in Fable. It looks like it just, tells you what the cost of the business is and how much income it's making. It doesn't seem like you will actually run the business, like from doing the activities inside. Though on the following screen, you can see that you can set the wages for the employees. You can manage the employees and change them. They have their own traits that affect how they perform and how they affect the business. You can set the prices of the business if it sells things, etc. And you can also, again, hire like another staff member if you have vacancies, or you can fire staff members. So there is some customization here, which I quite like. And I don't know if the game would be too tedious if you actually had to run these businesses yourselves, especially if you acquire many. So this is probably like a good middle ground between being a fun activity, but not too tedious.
I'm a proud new pub owner. Now I can set prices and wages, and I can manage the staff. Every villager performs differently. Here, Susan the bartender is great with customers because she's caring. And that's giving my pub an income boost of 10%. Thanks, Susan. The pub's understaffed though. As the new owner, I should probably sort that out. And guess what? I know just the hard-working fellow. Let's go back to Jack the beggar.
They're so pure.
Here you can see that the character gets reputation as an entrepreneur and rich for buying a business that was quite expensive. And this is a double-edged sword. Some people will not appreciate this, others will appreciate it. And they kind of explained that, morality is not black and white in this game. It's a bit gray. I don't think it's anywhere near as gray as like The Witcher 3 or something like that, where it felt like you just always made the best decision you could of the worst choices. Things seem a lot more black and white than the narrator would lead you to believe from what I can see so far. But there are nonetheless characters that will view you positively or negatively depending on your actions. Even if you are a positive character, some people will not like that.
I've also gained reputations as an entrepreneur and as rich, because I bought the pub and it cost me a ton of gold. Jack, you're no longer dead to me.
Hi there.
Hey, you.
Jack still likes me for my kindness earlier, but I like that Jack is hard-working, so I'm going to give him a job in my pub.
Got a job, if you're interested.
I can probably do that, yeah.
I can hire anyone, providing they like me enough to accept my job offer. Great. Jack is thankful I've made a positive impact on his life. He's no longer a beggar, and he's now a bartender.
Cheers.
Yeah, makes sense. There are so many other people to talk to.
The character then interacts with Jack and hires him for his business now that he owns a business. This was not an option before, so the world is kind of changing. Your dialogue options are changing dynamically by things that you're doing, which is interesting to see.
Villagers react to the reputations you build.
They'd help with anything.
And they remember the things you do to them. Now the pub is fully staffed and Jack can head off to work.
Incredible.
Take your time, Jack.
Next, I need some fancy clothes. Let's head to the tailor.
What a cheeky charmer.
There are lots of places I can update my look. Tailors, hairdressers, tattooists. And every settlement has different options available. There are rare outfits to discover in the more dangerous parts of Albion too. There are tons of options to create a unique look for your hero. This place looks fancy. Let's head inside. This is the tailor, Rhiannon.
So much choice on offer.
We're closing soon.
Just like real life, wealth is a divisive topic, and Rhiannon has her own views. In stark contrast to the ambitious Megan, she's very much not a fan of rich entrepreneurs, and she thinks I'm out of touch. Which makes sense, given she's humble. Let's have a look at what she's selling. Fancy clothes, hopefully.
Can I see your stuff?
Don't waste my time.
Rhiannon's jacking up the prices by 80% just for me. Looking closer reveals why. That's just how much she hates me. This is just one example of where your choices ripple through all the interconnected systems. And here I've got our character customizer. I'm free at any time to find a wardrobe and change a bunch of different things about myself. I can change my skin tone, body, head, hair, and lots more. In the tailor, I can only buy clothes. But there's over 120 different shops in Albion, each with their own stock and items to buy. Let's finish my outfit with some fancy shoes.
Here the character is changing their clothes, and the narrator's talked about being able to change your skin tone, body, head, hair, more. So there is a lot of character customization available to you. We don't know exactly how much. Like, we have a general idea, but we don't know how in-depth it is. And supposedly there are other changes you can do. We don't know what those are. But it looks like you will have a decent amount of character customization from the sound of it. So that should be music to just about everyone's ears.
See you, Rhiannon.
Take care.
Yeah, alright.
We don't get on, but it's been a pleasure. Now I'm really looking the part. Let's check on my relationship with Megan.
Here on the map screen, you can see the income chest is actually full at the top there, the amount of that you can hold. And there are some other icons that we're not sure exactly what they mean, but this gives you an idea how much gold you can hold. 5,000 doesn't seem to be that much gold, given how quickly the character makes gold doing some activities later in the video.
At any time, I can dip into property and people screens to track my loved ones, of which there could be many, because I can have relationships with everyone in Albion if I like. It would just take a while. While I'm here, I can see the reputation cloud on the right. It shows me what I'm known for in Silverbrook, as an entrepreneur, rich, kind, shrewd, and virtuous. On a single moral scale, these reputations would be seen the same way, as absolutely good or evil. However, as we've seen with Megan and Rhiannon, Fable's morality reflects the complexity of judgment we see in the world today, where everyone has their own moral view.
The last thing left for Megan is to own a home. I'm a bit short on cash though, seeing as I paid a fortune to save Colin and bought a pub. But since I've bought it, I've been earning passive income, so let's swing by to collect it. The people of Silverbrook all have their own nuanced, subjective view of who I am and what they think of me. But if I don't like my reputations in Silverbrook, I can pay the town crier to change them. I give them gold, a lot of gold, and they spread a new reputation for me. If you're rich enough, you can change what people think of you. Here I am at the Silver Trough, now under new management. Let's head inside and check in on our employees. There's Susan, my star bartender from earlier.
Well, aren't you a do-gooder?
Hey, you. Working hard?
Just who I wanted to see. You.
Oh, she fancies me because she thinks I'm compassionate. Sorry, Susan. I only have eyes for Megan.
Keep at it.
You and me, boss. You and me.
Hey.
And there's Jack. Let's say hi.
How's it going? Just working. You know me.
I knew you'd work out, Jack. He is a hard-working commoner after all. Keep up the good work.
Farewell. See you, boss.
Things seem to be ticking over in here. so I'll head downstairs to the income chest to collect my profits.
Looking good.
There's an income chest in every business I own and every property I live in. It means I don't have to go to each individual place, and I can collect all my income from any of them.
And I will say, even though I'm not a huge fan of the income cap and it probably improving throughout the game, I do like that there are multiple chests you can collect it from. Anywhere you basically have a chest for income, you can get it. You don't have to go to that specific building. That does cut some of the tedium out of it.
I've got a decent amount of gold now. Time to pick off the last thing on Megan's list. Owning my own property in Silverbrook. Let's go house hunting. I can buy literally any house in Albion. It would just take a while, and quite a bit of gold. But I like the look of this one. Nice garden, rural views, weird hairy pig statues out front. Let's have a look. Looks like I don't quite have enough money. That's a shame, but one thing I can do is pick up a shift at a job. There's a blacksmith just down the road. Hopefully I can go earn enough gold there. Going on dates, buying properties and businesses, and doing jobs are all part of the interconnected Fable experience. It really adds to the sense of immersion when I can take a break from saving the world to change the lives of the people around me and discover how the simulation reacts. I could play this part of the game forever, and I'd never run out of systemic toys to tinker with. There's a couple of jobs to take on across Albion, but today I fancy a try at blacksmithing. It's as simple as walking up to the anvil to start a shift. No prior experience required. In the interest of time, we've reduced the time limit here, but regardless, it's a classic case of risk versus reward. I'm constantly having to balance speed versus precision, while trying to earn as much as I can. I need to hit all the hotspots to complete an item, but if I manage a perfect hit, just like that, I earn a multiplier on my gold. That's a successful shift completed.
Here you can see a first look at one of the mini games you could do in Fable. This is like a blacksmithing activity. Kingdom Come Deliverance did this exceptionally well. It had lots of mini games inside their game that were fun to do. Looks like Fables will be pretty fun as well. And not only does this give you gold from doing it, but it also improves your skill at blacksmithing, which theoretically should, either make you make more money or improve the quality of crafting if there is that in the game, which I suspect there probably will be.
I can return to the blacksmith anytime to earn more gold and gain blacksmithing experience while building my reputation.
Here you can see the income chest is full again. This is actually about 7 minutes of gameplay after he looted it already. So it doesn't take very long to fill up. And if at this stage of the game, every 7 minutes you have to go loot an income chest or you're capped out, I feel like that's a bit too much. So hopefully that gets changed or there's a way to improve this quickly and they just haven't done it so far. But that seems like it's going to get annoying if that remains the way it is so far.
I've now got just about enough gold for the house. Let's head back down the street and buy it. There are guards stationed in every settlement. They're always there to keep a watchful eye on the villagers, and probably 2 eyes on a hero. If I get caught committing crimes, I'll find myself in trouble with the law, and that will change what people think of me. We're back. Let's buy the house. Now I'm the owner, I can hike up the rent or even make it free if I'm feeling charitable. I can manage my tenants too. I can let them stay and keep collecting the rental income, but I want to move in myself, which gives me the choice to just chuck them out on the street or be nice and give them a bit of gold to leave. And if I chuck them out, that would cause me to be known as heartless. And I'm trying to be nice right now in case I ruin things with Megan. And now I'm free to move in.
So after the character buys a house, there is the option to rent it to people. This house that he bought already has a renter. He can evict it and move in, or he can, jack up the rent or lower the rent, etc. There are a lot of different things. And I like that customization. Again, you can pretty much buy any property or house or a business you want in this game. So there are a lot of interesting ways you can interact with the game world. And over time, you'll probably just accumulate tons and tons of wealth, which is one of the things that's fun about these games, is kind of winning the game outside of the game, if you will.
Let's look around. Home sweet home. I can buy any house in Albion. And while this one lacks some square footage, there are huge houses, even mansions I can buy throughout the game. Looks like the tenants left some stuff behind. Awful fans, apparently. Wherever I live, I have access to my income chest and wardrobe, so I can collect all my gold and change my appearance whenever I like. That was the last thing on Megan's list. Let's head back to the general store. Fable has a dynamic time of day that changes what people are doing throughout their routine. It's still the afternoon, so hopefully Megan is still working. If I'm too late, she'll be back home in bed.
And there's my new pub with some customers in the beer garden.
I love well.
Now we're back at the general store. Let's find Megan.
Just the person I wanted to see.
Still interested?
I've ticked off all Megan's dating goals, so now my chances of romance are much improved. Let's ask her on a date again.
How about a date?
A date? I'm chuffed to bits.
I can offer a gift to increase my chances of a date being a good one. As tempting as my new offal is, I'm going to give Megan flowers instead. I think she'll like them more. Here we are on a date at the Silver Trough. Hope I'm getting free drinks. Looks like it went well.
That was quite the date, hero. Loved it.
Hey, you.
Oh, hero. That date was just brill.
Megan found me quite charming. I'd like to make things official, so I'll ask her to be in a relationship with me.
So what do you say? Ready for something more?
And what a lovely couple we'll make.
Whatever comes next, I'm with you.
It's official. That's not the end, though. I could build this relationship a lot more. We could get married, which comes with its own set of goals. We could move into my house and start a family. And I can even hire her for one of my businesses. Things could go the other way too. I could break up with Megan, or divorce her in future. Or I might make choices that make her divorce me. There's lots of ways I could change her life. And she'll remember. But we've seen enough romance for now. Bye, Megan.
I have to go. But you're welcome to watch me leave.
You have a lovely time, sweetheart.
Before we go, I've only really demonstrated what it's like being an upstanding citizen in Silverbrook. Our game is one full of contrast, though.
Modest. Yeah, I like it.
Where I decide the kind of hero I want to be. So let's briefly explore what it's like if I'm not so nice. Hi, Susan.
Nose to the grindstone. Love to see it.
Lovely to see you, boss.
Sorry, Susan. You're fired.
Yeah. You're fired. Sorry.
You're gonna regret that, swine.
So something I noticed interesting here, after the character fires the woman from the tavern that's working for him, he gets the heartless reputation, and now he's considered heartless inside Silverbrook. I don't think it makes sense for me that that reputation would carry over to everyone in the town. it makes far more sense that it would be unique to that character because that person might view you as heartless for firing them. But I don't see why the entire town would view you that way. And I think that's one of the things I'm a little concerned about in general about the reputation system of this game is that if you're nice to one person, the entire town has the reputation about you. Like, apparently they all heard about it. Instead of having a reputation system that's unique to each character and what you do to them only affects them, your reputation with someone over here now affects everything over here, which isn't exactly how life works.
She's not happy about that, and she thinks I'm being heartless. But because in Fable morality is subjective and varies from person to person, not everybody will have a problem with that. There might even be someone who fancies me because I'm heartless. Villagers also react to my physical actions. If I start firing arrows around the place, they'll start to perceive me as reckless.
After this point, we see that the character begins to fire off arrows. He gets the reckless reputation for firing in town, which kind of makes sense. I mean, you would think someone's pretty reckless if they're just firing arrows. Before he kind of goes on a criminal spree, and then we finally get to see some of the gameplay in terms of combat of the game.
In Fable, you can express yourself with your own combat style, combining strength, skill, and will in style-weaving combat. You choose the weapons, skills, and abilities you want to use and blend them seamlessly together.
Stay still, please.
Do I kill the wife?
I'm putting up a fight, but backup will keep on coming until I leave Silverbrook. Peacefully or not. I think a tactical retreat is probably for the best. Now I have a bounty on my head which will grow with more crime. I can immediately pay it or pay a reduced fine if I spend long enough out of town.
So in the combat, you get to see various types of combat here. You get to see using a bow with range. You get to see melee attacks. What looks almost like a parry mechanic or something like that, where they lock swords for a second and he like pushes them and attacks. And there are a variety of different spells here, from one that levitates enemies to like a fireball, one that turns somebody into a chicken. There are a lot of different magic spells here. And this is a big part of Fable, is like honing your play style, making this like free-form build that you want to play. Combat looks okay. I'm not blown away by what I've seen in combat. I would say that the animations look all right. The different effects and spells you can do look pretty good. But I think the part that has me a bit concerned about combat is the AI of the enemy. Most of them just stand there and do nothing. We saw this in Dragon Age, where a lot of the enemies just did this as well. They just stood there and took blows from you through flashy attacks. I'm concerned that that's how it's going to be. It's possible that this is like on a very easy version of the game, and enemy AI is more, challenging on higher versions. But I do hope that the combat is, somewhat challenging in certain places. It doesn't obviously have to be challenging the whole way. This isn't a game that people play for challenging combat, but I don't want to just fight enemies that stand around and wait for you to kill them either.
Until I put in the work to change what people think, or until I've made an expensive visit to the town crier. Because the people in Albion remember what you do.
Over the past 25 minutes or so, I've bought a pub and a house, been a landlord, and changed a beggar's life. I've customized my look, saved a magic talking pig, fought the law, and I've built a relationship with just one of Albion's 1,000 handcrafted, fully voiced NPCs. And here's the reputation cloud again. I'm rich and charming because of my spending habits and my relationships. I'm also a criminal and a killer due to my reckless behavior and fighting with the guards. Yet, I'm shrewd for saving Colin and an entrepreneur because I bought the silver trough. I've built a complex, rich identity in Silverbrook, which the people there will react to through their own moral view. I'm not...
And another thing is you can see on the map that he has a bounty in this town of Silverbrook, and it's like on a timer. Like the bounty goes down over time. This is kind of similar to the way Elder Scrolls Online handles their criminal system, where like if you get a bounty, it'll just go down like a little bit over time as long as you stay away from the town, and you can then finally go back without being attacked on sight. I think it's going to work quite similar to that from what I've seen so far. So that kind of wraps up the gameplay video. I just wanted to give some more context about some of the things there. And, my general impressions from seeing the gameplay so far is that the game visually looks beautiful. It looks like a game world that I want to get lost in and just have silly fun in. Fable, in my opinion, has never been like a super serious RPG. It's a bit more on the lighthearted, cozy side of things. And it definitely seems to be the case in this game. I will say that I'm not either impressed by what I've seen on the gameplay aspects or disappointed. I would say the game so far is pretty much what I expected it to be, more or less, in terms of quality and the things you can do. And while the morality system is being touted as this like, oh, everything is morally ambiguous, everyone has their own point of view, things seem to be, the examples they gave in the gameplay demo seem to be pretty black and white for me in terms of the way the game handles them. So I'm not sure that's as entirely true as they want to make it sound. And also the game doesn't seem to have a ton of complexity in it. It seems like it has lots of activities for you to do, but everything seems very simplified for you to understand and figure out so that you never get stuck on anything, you never get lost, and everything is really, really simple. I hope maybe there's some more complex interactions in the game. Otherwise, it's going to be one of those games that I feel like is more for like a teenager or, a 10-year-old than an actual adult, even though I feel like I'm a big kid sometimes. I would probably still play anyway. But I want to see more of this game moving forward. I'm not, again, blown away or disappointed. It's about what I expected it to be so far. But I want to see more to confirm whether it kind of stays on that level or maybe there's something I'm missing. But I want to know what you guys think so far. What do you make of the gameplay? Did you like the visuals? Do you like the aesthetic of the game? Are you blown away by the different interactions that the game world has? Or has this all been done before and been done better? I want to know what you think so far. Is it meeting your expectations? Is it blowing them away? Is it falling short? I want to hear from you.